Hi guys, this is Kim from Abundant Life Tarot, and we are doing my 2017's tarot deck that I used a lot. I'm sure I'm going to formulate a much more succinct title than that, but that's essentially what it is. It's the decks that I used the most during 2017. And some of these decks you may have seen or heard me talk about them quite a bit. I'm new to the YouTube seed, so I mean, I haven't had a lot of videos to like, oh, I have all these decks to show. So some of my decks are really my ride or die decks that I constantly go to and have gone to throughout 2017, while others are very new to my collection. But as soon as I got them, I was like, I started using them right away. I fell in love with them, and now they have become my most used decks, meaning that they have surpassed the decks that I owned for a lot longer in the short time that I've actually received them. So let's just get started. I also have to say I'm going to be doing quite a few videos tonight with my handy dandy wine, Chardonnay. So I will be partaking. Because tarot is like my favorite topic, so, and wine, I'm from California, is only proper I drink a California wine. All right, I digress. So the first step, it should be no secret, I love the Stretch Tarot. This is my baby. This is probably, if I'm going to do that video response about the deck that hugs you, or you get that hug from, for me it's the Stretch Tarot in most instances. Now, hug decks, for me, it could vary, like depending on what I need a hug related to. Do I need a hug related to my love life? Do I need a hug related to my money? What do I need a hug related to? So I have a couple of decks that kind of serve different hug purposes. Okay, here is Judgment. And you have like a beautiful like metamorphosis going on with the butterfly, the caterpillar. First, seems like the death. You don't know what's the beginning or the end, the calling or when you're called. I don't know. Ten of Pentacles. And it is mixed media, which I adore. The Stretch Tarot also has just recently dropped its second edition. This is the first, and it is edged in black. For me and my selfish purposes, that was the Eight of Pentacles. Now, this deck is this is Eight of Cups. This deck is one of my 3 Thoth decks that I have. And this one's actually Thoth light, meaning it definitely has some Thoth elements, like with the keyword up here. This says abandonment for Eight of Cups. And some of the meanings in the little white booklet. Here's the Hierophant. I don't know why that as soon as I got this deck, it instantly clicked for me. Like the meanings, like it made me really appreciate Thoth a lot more. And it was all from what I was getting from the energy of the cards and the pictures. And then, yeah, from time to time, maybe my own associations and understandings of the meanings. And then the keywords at the top. And then at times I'd look it up in the book. This is so cool. This is the Five of Swords. I love that. So this definitely for me was one of my most used decks, and it was primarily used for my own personal readings to myself, or maybe for like my sister or a close friend. I've toyed with getting the second edition. I love that Ten of Swords. It says Ruin at the top, by the way. Let me get close. Ruin. Let me see if there's any. Oh, here's one of the male this is one of 2 magician cards, and the other one is a female lovely magician cards. And I like that there's 2 magician cards in the deck. And then finally the Chariot. And I do have a review of this deck, one of the first YouTube videos that I did. And you can check that one out if you want more details about it. But yeah, I adore this deck. I'm so happy I purchased it. I have a feeling I will be using it a lot in 2018 as well, but you never know. But I've been using it ever since it got into my hot little hands. I can't even remember when I got it, but obviously it was sometime this year, and I adore it. All right, up next we have the Tarot of the Ages, and I primarily do use this deck for readings for others, although sometimes I do use it for readings for myself. It is a US Games deck, and it has it says Tarot of the Ages is a multicultural deck that draws on ancient civilizations portrayed with realistic artwork by Mario Gorizio. And oh, let me back up. The Stretch's creator, is J.E. Stretch. And you can get your own brand spanking new deck from www.stretchtarot.com. And this is the little white booklet I'm talking about that has the meanings. So moving on back to the Tarot of the Ages. I love this deck, 8 of Batons, because it is multicultural. The one thing that sucks about it is that the images are very little, and it's already a tinier deck. Like here's a size comparison with the Stretch. And you can see it's quite smaller. It's quite smaller there. So, but I don't care about that so much. Here's the card backs. I don't think I've done a review, an individual review. I've just talked about them in this deck in various videos, but I adore it because it gives accurate readings. It is Lo Scarabeo. Here's the little white book with multi-languages. So you got that here. Good little meanings. Actually, my bad. No, it is not. Scratch that. Actually. Cut. Okay, so backing up. This is US Games. This whole booklet is, let's see. This whole booklet is in English, and it has reversals, I believe. It has divinatory meanings, and it has just an overall view, like an overall message for the card. And yeah, it's kind of a meaty little white book. And let's just take a quick look at the cards. Here's 8 of Batons. King of Batons. Nine of Swords. She's not quite stabbed like the 10 of Swords is in the back. Here's Justice. Love this Justice card. All right, here's 3 of Batons. There is some nudity, folks. Cover your eyes if you're under 18. And here is 6 of Cups. And this deck is really good for career questions, or like, how am I getting along with my coworkers, or should I take this next job opportunity? I have really good results with readings that pertain to those kind of questions. Page of Coins. Ace of Swords. No, look at the Death card, guys. And here's the Universe. And it does have a white border. Oh, here's 4 of Coins. But, oh, let's see. I don't mind it. Here's the Star card. I don't mind it. And I think it's a highly underrated deck. And here's 4 of Swords. Because it does read well. And the people who have done reviews for this deck have all said similar things to what I'm seeing, is that it's a good deck and that, I don't know, it's just not really talked about. But I could also use it in love readings, but I just prefer to use it in those either general life readings or particularly those career questions. All right, moving on. So next up, I have to mention the Triple Goddess. I don't think I've also done a review of the Triple Goddess because a lot of these well, I did do for the stretch, but the mass-produced decks already have a ton of reviews, and I don't know if I'm adding anything to the conversation when I'm doing the reviews. So that's why I don't always want to bombard YouTube with a bunch of reviews when there's been lovely reviews already put out. Okay, here's the Lover's card. I do use this deck, this lovely deck by Lo Scarabeo for love readings. The Triple Goddess is created by Jamie Elfert, artwork by Franco Rivoli. It is Lo Scarabeo, and of course it has a little white book with multiple languages. Here is the King, well, it's the King of Wands, but this is a crone-esque deck, meaning that for the most part, I mean, there are men in the deck, as you can see in the Lover's card, but they're more like a man prop than they are an actual character. Although there is a couple of men who actually are front and center in the cards. I just can't find it yet, but here's the Empress card. Can't find it yet, but oh, I love the Five of Pentacles. But it's got a crone energy, and I like that. It's like a wise, hip grandmother energy. Like, she's the grandmother you can confide in and talk about your issues, and she'll give you that wise advice. She'll tell it like it is, how she sees the situation, and she'll give you that wise advice. And you can take it or leave it, but you probably want to take it because it is going to lead you to where you're trying to go in the path of love. So that's why I really love this deck. It really, if I did a video response to decks that surprised me, it would be this one. Definitely surprised me. I wasn't even really so much sold on getting it. Here's the Six of Cups at first, but then over time, something, you know how you have those decks that call you and call you and call you, and you're like, okay, fine, I'll get you. This is one of those decks, and now I know why. I get along very, very well with it. It's Ace of Swords, and I primarily use it for readings for others. Every now and then I'll pull it out for myself, but mostly for others. Here is the King of Pentacles, but it's a woman in this case. King of Cups. And then finally, I'm just going to show the Two of Swords, which I really love. It's a proper Two of Swords, in my opinion. And here is the Five of Swords. Look at that look on her face. Like, she thinks she got away with something, but did she? And here is the Ace of Cups. And so this deck has come up. Oh, and I believe this is the Tower, I believe. Doesn't look very Tower-esque. I always say esque at the end. But yeah. I get what's going on here in the image. But I really, really, really love this deck. And I've had it in many of my favorites videos because it is always used, always. So yeah, there you go, the Triple Goddess. And then we have, let's see, I'm gonna go with the Cosmic Tarot. I left the guidebooks that I purchased upstairs. I have 2 guidebooks, and then it also does come with a little white guidebook. This is Norbert Losk? I don't know. Probably mispronouncing the name. The publisher is AGM Urania. And yeah, I love the cover. This is another deck that, well, this is a deck that for the longest time I was like, I don't know about that deck. I don't know if I need it. It would always come up in like, you know, search engine, you know, when you're on the computer and it's like, oh, it's calling you. There's an ad that's calling you. And this one sometimes would pop up on my Amazon or what have you. So I eventually purchased it. Here are the backs. And I don't know, did I show you the back? Oh, I didn't, of Triple Goddess. So it's reversible. As is the stretch. But, yeah, this one's not really reversible, but I don't really care about that. I really enjoyed this deck as well. I enjoyed the separate guidebooks that were written by 2 different authors. I also enjoy the little white book that comes with it. I think it's just a beautiful reader deck for general readings. Here's the Tower. Let's just look at the Tower for a moment. Your traditional Tower, I love it. Love that color. And once I got it in my hot little hands, I knew it belonged here. And I primarily, I guess, do readings, I'd say 50-50. Myself and others, but here's the World card. But every now and then, here's 9 of Pentacles. I like to do readings with it for others. Here's Princess of Swords. And the artwork is of... it's favored after some actors and actresses and famous people. Princess of Cups. And one of the guidebooks that I have, which is upstairs, actually has like a guide in the back to who the celebrities who were featured in the deck. So I thought that was kind of cool. And let's see, here's 8 of Swords. So I love this deck too. I did use it quite a bit. Here's 6 of Cups. Strength. Here's the Sun card. Has white borders. I'm not one of those people that really trip off of borders, but there are some decks I know for a fact would look great trimmed, but I'm not in the mood to be trimming decks at this time in my life. Here's the Hanged Man. It's already a chore to edge them in black or whatever color I'm trying to pick. I don't feel like cutting them either. I'm sorry, I have so many things going on with kids. I already got a lot of arts and crafts to do. Okay, so next up, this is very, very new to me. This is, oh, keep doing that, Sensual Wicca Tarot. And I got this one because I started doing, whether these are popular or not, I started doing love readings. And I prefer to do love readings. I actually really enjoy doing love readings when it comes to doing readings for others. And that seems to be the biggest question people ask me about is love. Then the close second is, for me, then a close second is career. And so the love is where it's at. So I wanted to give a more complete picture, like including like the sensual and sexual energies. Okay, for example, here's it's called the Oneness, but this is the World or Universe card. And I love it. I love this deck. It's a great love and relationship deck, a great sexual deck. And here are the backs. It is Lo Scarabeo, so it's got a multi-language guidebook. It's your standard size tarot. Here's 9 of Pentacles. It is sensual, but it's not overtly like graphic sex. Some of the scenes, yes, like here is the Mother of Swords or the Queen of Swords. I actually have a review out right now, or an unboxing that I just put out not too long ago of the Sensual Wicca Tarot. So you can look at it for more images. Here's the Ten of Cups. And here's the Ten of Wands. I just really like this deck. And this is what I mean about decks that I have just recently got into my collection. But as soon as I got it, I just start using it all the time, like all the time. And I don't see it slowing down. Here is the Ace of Wands. So I'm not going to keep showing images because I do already have a video of it and I want to save time. So yeah, I really like that deck. I was very surprised how much I liked it. And I was very glad I got it versus some of the other sexy decks out there. Because I just was called to it, and there's a reason. There's always a reason why the decks are like starting to like ache at you. You know what I mean? Kind of like a dog kind of like trying to catch your attention to like, come pick me. All right, enjoying my Saturday night. All right, another new to me is The Everyday Witch. And this is by Deborah Blake, art by Elizabeth Alba Llewellyn. I adore this dang deck. I was very surprised because I saw and I thought it was like too kitschy. I'm not so sold on Halloween or witch type decks. I don't know why. I just not. But I'm sold on this one. And I'm so glad I got it. And I just knew that of all the witch decks out there, this is my deck. And it is. Right out of the box, even though it's new to me this year. Six of Pentacles. Even though it's new to me, I still really like it. And the backs are not reversible, by the way. And it's standard tarot, which I don't mind that it's not reversible. Here's the Hanged Man. Okay. Here is Five of Wands. And look, if you look closely, all the ladies are like kind of bickering, doing what ladies do when they get kind of agitated and talking, amongst each other. Even the kittens and cats down there below are kind of doing the same thing. All right. We have Four of Swords. Beautiful Four of Swords. Just really, again, another deck that surprised me. I just don't have enough decks to do a video for decks that surprised me. I mean, I guess I could do 2 or 3 decks and it'd be a very short video, which could be appreciated. Here's Knight of Pentacles. And I love this Knight of Pentacles because his feet are still on the ground. And that Pentacles Knight is kind of slow getting up and going, but he'll get there. And then finally, Six of Wands. So, I use this deck quite a bit. I've started using it for readings for others, and I have used it a lot for readings for myself. Just right off the bat, hit it off, and I'm glad I did because it's one of my favorite go-to decks. And I love the pretty box that Llewellyn has put it in. It's those magnetic boxes. Yeah. And then we have another Llewellyn. This time this is from Christopher Hughes, illustrated by Chris Down. Celtic Tarot. Again, this is the magnetic box. So, I got this because I wanted to do love readings. And I'm also, as an aside about the love readings, I was doing singles and couples. I think I'm just going to do astrological and just all-encompassing singles and couples and just do it that way. Because, I just rather upload a lot less videos. But here are the backs. So I got this deck because I wanted a deck to read for general love readings, not the sexy stuff. Although this deck does bring the sexy. Here's the backs. And then here is the Five of Wands. I love this deck. I've been primarily using it for readings, for my readings online, my YouTube readings. But I have been using them for myself. Ace of Cauldrons. Because again, as soon as it came out, I took it out of the box and was able to instantly start reading with it. Here is the Nine of Swords, one of my most favorite Nine of Swords. Back it up. And here is the Four of Swords. Love that. Here's the Three of Cauldrons. Here's the Nine of Cauldrons. Interesting. And here's the Ten of Swords. You always got to see a good Ten of Swords, right? You stabbed me in my back. Sorry. Wine. I only drink it so often. It was a nice December Saturday night. And I'm just enjoying myself immensely. Okay, here's the Chariot. So yeah, I'm in love with this deck. Here's the King of Cauldrons. Nudity alert. Love this card. High Priestess. And then I'm just going to show one more. Eight of Swords. Okay. Because I'm trying to scoot this along. And then one last deck that's really should be in its own category because it's not really... Some people would be like, it's not your traditional tarot, which I'm all for. I don't care. You know, I'm not getting into that debate. So, but it doesn't quite fit the oracle either. So we're just going to go with it with the tarot because I use it a lot. This is the Dreams of Gaia. I know this is not a very popular one, although it's either super popular amongst certain circles and in others it's not so much. For me, I used this a lot earlier this year, and especially when I was traveling and when I was going on retreat. I went on retreat and I took this deck with me and I had some beautiful moments with this deck. Here are the backs. And some people, they don't want to... I've actually used this in readings for others and was able to get a lot from the images. Some images I can instantly just click with, like in the stretch. Not everyone can click with that type of artwork. Just like I'm struggling with clicking with certain other artworks or pip decks. And that's why this stretch is an ideal, ideal light Thoth deck, because the whole pip thing I'm not really always keen on. And then also some of the artwork out there I'm just not resonating with, and that's normal. But for some reason, this deck I love. I love the guidebook. Just adore it. King of Fire. And I'm not ashamed to use the guidebook with this. This is its own system. So I cut myself some slack. I think a lot of people get caught up in the fact that they don't know the meanings. It's its own system. They're afraid to use the book. Don't be afraid to use the book on this deck, because then you're cheating yourself with it. Emotions. It's kept it real with me. And it's given me some sound guidance on what I need to do. Masculine and feminine. This is like the fire suit. This is one of the major arcana cards. This is integrity. Queen of Fire, the Child, Major Arcana, Queen of Water, Choice. This is like the full card. Perception. I love that one. Gorgeous. Ace of Swords or Ace of Air. King of Earth. And this is Blue Angel. This is by Raven Phelan. And I adore it. Here's Desire. Here's Love. And so if I look up in the guidebook, let's see. Here's the guidebook. I'll never get rid of this. I'm sorry. It's one of the first soul decks that I have that, I don't know. It just is amazing. I mean, the guidebook has the keyword, then the keywords, self, I am, identity, self-realization, self-manifestation, center, peace, acceptance. Key phrases, tons of key phrases here. Meaning. So a lot of times when I am doing a reading with these, I'll just kind of glance at the keywords and the key phrases. And then if I need more in-depth answers, I dive into the meaning. She has for the Major Arcana, I apologize, my voice is getting scratchy because it's getting late. She has the meanings, so the main meaning, and then she has how it applies to the past, present, and future, and a potential blockage or a reversal. And then for the minors, she still gives a lengthy description. She has the Two of Air, the little picture still, keywords, key phrases, and meaning, and then the potential blockage. So I don't know, say what you may, feel how you may about this deck. For me, it works. I use it a lot. I go through phases where I use it, like sometimes every week. When I'm doing my weekly draws for myself. I see a mosquito. Sorry. Can't believe there's so mosquitoes. That just threw me off. So I still go to it from time to time. Not all the time, because I don't always feel the need to. But when I do